We outside.
Hello, guys.
Let's boogie.
Welcome back to episode 7 of the We Outside Afterwork podcast.
Cinco de
I am Dana.
Damn, what's 7?
I don't know Spanish.
Seis.
Oh. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Aaron. What's up, y'all? Oh, wait, we got a guest in the building.
Yes. Today we are joined by my good friend Jasmin. Lugo.
What's going on, guys? What's up?
Yes. I told her we needed to have our first female guest on the episode, so she is that person.
I'm quite honored that I am the first woman. Shout out to Ace Women.
And honestly, we love female guests.
Okay, well, shoot.
We need to have more on here, so I'm trying to get a list of people, but it's just scheduling that's usually the issue.
Okay.
But anyway, we are happy to have you, and
I'm happy to be here.
So
Let's
you
get
guys,
it going.
yes,
I'm ready.
have a little background of Jasmin and my relationship. Like, I've known her since 2012, and she was my
10 years.
first roommate in college.
Very first.
Yes.
The awe's getting to me.
Oh my God.
Yes, we met before college though. Like we had that.
It was a summer. It was
Yeah.
freshman orientation
Yep.
at King University.
Yep.
And I don't remember how we met exactly, but it was like me, you, and Dea instantly clicked.
Like it was like from the jump. We just talked the whole time.
Yeah.
We didn't have like it was just never like we were talking about everything. I feel like.
And I think because we're both Pisces, we just like subconsciously
Understand
connected.
each other, yeah. Like,
Yeah, we
just-
love Pisces. Pisces are dope.
Shout out to
Women Pisces, men Pisces.
Yeah, I don't
I
care
was
about
say-
men. Pisces,
Let me take a sip.
Sagittarius,
I do know.
Aquarius, Moon Goddess. I don't care about none of them.
Oh my
but
God.
It's actually beautiful to see Dana actually remembering something.
You gotta chill. No, but honestly, my memory isn't the best at times, but the way
Yeah.
it works is like certain things will spark that memory. So if you tell me about something that we did together,
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh shit, I remember. But it's not just like chilling in the back of my head. Anyway, we're gonna start with icebreakers.
Oh.
So
Okay.
because Jasmin is very conscious about animals, and she does have a pit bull, Lola, who is 7 years old.
Shout out to my beanie butt. That's
Shout out
it.
to her baby.
Beanie butt.
Beanie butt. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Marvin got the sound effects on deck today.
On deck, I
Wait,
love
we
it.
shouting out rescues. Can I shout out my rescue?
Go ahead.
You have
know
one?
what?
I have a rescue. His name is Rusty. You've seen pictures of Rusty.
Rusty the Rescue. Look at that.
he
That just
never
rhymes
posts
and
Rusty.
flows.
Because Rusty's been living with my girl's sister, so he's been with me for the last 2 weeks, shitting on my
Oh,
carpet
okay.
and all that stuff. So
He's not trained.
he's just older.
How old
Rusty's
is he?
he's probably like 30. Like, no bullshit. Like, Rusty's been
30,
through a lot.
like human years or
Like human years.
dog years?
So when we took him to the doctors, they did a tooth test, and they was like, oh, he's very like of age. So I think he's entering those final stages. So we just doing what we gotta do to keep loving him.
Keep him comfortable.
Since having a baby, he kind of like forgot about us in all honesty, but it's all good. We love you, Rusty.
Since
Rusty.
we're talking about dogs, I feel like I need to reminisce a little bit.
Oh, shout out
The
to
Dolce.
Dolce.
Y'all, so I had a Bichon Maltese for 4 years. Her name was Dolce. She was a small white little puppy. She was 4 years old. She passed away in 2020 because of COVID. And at the time, what is wrong with you?
I was emotional. I'm sorry.
This is not a joking matter.
I was literally
Listen,
emotional.
she's mourning here. She's mourning.
I'm really telling you like a heartfelt story, and he like put it.
You about to make her start crying? Are you okay too? Like,
I hate you.
Do I need tissues? Like,
Listen, let me finish my story. This is not funny. Like, seriously, on a serious note.
Out of
Okay.
pocket for that shit.
That's it. He's
Thank
out of
you.
pocket.
Out of pocket.
Thank you.
So she was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and she went to 2 different hospitals. And like at the end, the doctor ended up saying like she showed me pictures of the inside of her lungs and stuff, which was like really cloudy.
Yeah.
And they said because they haven't done testing on animals like that, they couldn't actually say like it was COVID. But I looked at her as this black young doctor, and I was like, "Do you think it's COVID?" She was like, "Yeah, possibly." So yeah, I had to put her down. So it was a really hard time. So shout out to Dolce.
R.I.P.
But
Yeah.
honestly, it kind of brings us into some questions we wanted to ask you as our guest.
Yeah.
As our icebreaker.
Yeah.
Oh snap! Here we
This
go.
section is called Hot Takes.
It's called Hot Takes. So we wanted to know, how do you feel about testing on animals?
Oh, yeah. I'm pro animal. If anyone knows me, like I cry when my dog's hurt. Like I'm very like emotionally, energetically attached to animals. It's just something that gets me. It's my heartstrings. They get pulled every time. So for me, obviously, I'm definitely against it, right? But who is? If you see the videos, who wouldn't be upset seeing the videos of like dogs getting
They abuse them,
shot up with all these crazy chemicals, them getting paralyzed at points, like. It's a real thing that people do out here.
It's like rabbits, all types of animals. Mice.
I literally just saw that actually on Facebook recently that, like, mice feel too. And they're smart, mammals.
Absolutely.
Are we talking about rats or mice?
Both. All of them. Possums.
Dana having some PTSD from the city.
Yo.
She's like, man, I seen a fucking rat. That's a different.
When I was young, just a little side note. When I was young, this was probably like, I was in 3rd grade, and we lived in North Jersey. And there's this particular town, I don't want to put the information out there, but they are known for having rats the size of cats. So one day I was coming home from school, and one like ran in front of my steps to go upstairs to my house. So I literally stood in front of my steps for like 20 minutes because I was like horrified. I'm like, oh my God, this shit is going to jump out and attack me. So I don't really care too much about rats.
Rats, possums, raccoons. We don't fuck with them. Like,
well, regardless, we're talking about mice here, though, because mice be getting
just bring us back.
They be getting mistreated out here. Let's be honest.
So let me ask you this question, if you don't mind me asking, because I'm not necessarily opposed, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to medical advancements, helping out humankind.
Just so you know, Jasmin is a doctor. She has her doctorate in physical therapy, and she's board certified. So
that's it. And I'm an athletic trainer, so
talk your shit.
We out here.
And I'm an athlete, so I'm
oh my God.
And I'm in tech, and I'm in real estate. So what's up?
Must be nice. All right, but back to the question.
Yeah.
How you feel about animal testing when it benefits humankind? Because that's where it gets difficult.
Like advancements in medicine.
It's hard because for me, people are draining. I feel like they're more draining than like animals per se. Animals are a lot more so treated as like therapy dogs, emotional support dogs, those kind of things. And I feel like I don't know that many humans that do that, but regardless, I feel like humans are the ones that primarily abuse these animals. So for me, I will always take the side of an animal because they can't speak, but they feel. And for me, energies are always more important than what people speak about or say about. Or
because you could see in an animal's eyes that
you just know
they're in pain, they're suffering. That's actually how. Just to bring it back to my dog Dolce before she passed, and the reason why I took her to the hospital was because like I could just see in her eyes like something wasn't right, and she kept she just kept like being attached to my hip that night, and I was just like, yo, something's not right. Let me take her to the animal hospital. And then they ended up telling me like, yo, did she eat any type of rat poisoning or anything? And I'm like, what the fuck? No. So then they kept her overnight, and then it ended up being 2 weeks, and then ultimately she passed away. But yeah, like animals, like they can't tell you, but you have to have that that awareness that something's wrong.
And you have a rescue dog, so like for me going to the shelter, like that was like traumatic.
It was definitely it was.
Like,
it was
I've never been to an animal shelter.
Like be prepared to see these animals like. The faces that they have, like, and they're beautiful animals. They're just, people don't know the responsibility behind having an animal. People have kids, they forget about the dog, but the dog was always there prior to kids. And it's a messed up kind of environment that people have.
So when we went to go pick up Rusty, because Atlantic County had a waiver.
Yeah.
So you can get a dog with no fees or anything. So that's kind of the best time to get a rescue dog.
Yeah.
We went in, all the dogs are in cages. They're not really associated with each other. Dogs are naturally like communicative creatures.
Yeah.
Like I want to interact with this dog and sniff their butt and do all that crazy freaky stuff. Dogs, y'all nasty.
Y'all weird.
But it's all good. So when we went in there, it's like it's this big Beethoven looking dog with drool everywhere. It's like, oh, that's adorable. But it's like I can't bring you home. Like, but it's just so sad.
It's so sad. Yeah.
But the one thing that they did was they made sure.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
they made sure that they give you time with the animal before they bring you out. So we took Rusty to the little fence area, got him to run around, make him get to know us, because he could have been abandoned, he could have been found, he could have been given away. Like, it's a lot of different nuances to these animals.
Right.
And now that we look at getting them tested and stuff like that for different things, like, it's like I
It's like
want
a
to
little
help you.
baby.
But,
It's
yeah.
literally like a baby, and they have expenses, like those vet appointments and the shots every year.
It's expensive out here to have.
dog
I got
food.
pet insurance. Listen, y'all need to get pet insurance because
I feel like that was expensive for me.
Oh,
I don't have pet insurance.
Your dog don't even live with you.
He did.
is it your dog? Like, what's happening?
Rusty, look into the camera, Rusty. We love you.
Okay,
Anyway,
so
yes,
we're gonna go to our second hot takes topic.
Okay.
So if we can have that on the screen. This topic, I feel like it was relatable to all of us and just different fields that we work in. So I just wanted to know your opinion. So the question is, being likable and charismatic is more powerful than being smart. Do you guys agree or disagree? And if so, why? So I'm gonna let Aaron go first.
I'm a likable and charismatic person.
You are.
You really are.
I'm also.
It's my first time meeting you, and I feel like we vibe. You know,
We definitely.
like,
First off, she does like this, and I think it's the coolest shit in the world. Like,
That's it.
but I'm also pretty intelligent, so I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I kind of like knock it out the park. You feel me? But I do think being charismatic and likable really outpaces being smart. Because a lot
Why?
of people don't like that smart person in the room. The smart person in the room can really bog shit down.
I think
Like-
it depends. It depends on the person and the situation, because there can be smart people who are unlikable because they want people to know, like, all I have to offer is really this knowledge.
Which is why we don't like that.
Right.
Like-
But you can also have someone who is likable, who is social, and gives this knowledge in a way that makes people retain it, but also they like them because they're like, oh, damn, like this person wasn't like a dick the way he was telling us like this information on stuff. So I think honestly it just depends on the scenario and the person.
see, for me, like I gotta disagree, Dana. Like, I feel like
Okay.
for me, and yeah, I'm
siding with Aaron?
siding with Aaron a little bit. I can't hold y'all.
I like the
my
win.
friend.
I'm sorry.
But because I feel like you can, and I coming from doing my bachelor's to go into my doctorate, like you can teach anyone education. Let's be honest, you really can. You can't teach personality out here, and
Yes.
that's the hardest part. Like people, I could make something up for you guys today, completely bullshit, but because of how I address it and how I'm confident in it, you can make someone believe it. And that's the same thing with education. People, if you're really trying to get yourself out there, and if you really, like minorities especially, like minorities, we don't get that upper hand.
We don't
as
get those
Caucasians
opportunities.
do. We don't get the
Exactly.
opportunities. But if we have that opportunity, best believe we're going to shine, because you
But
can
I
teach
can-
education to anybody.
Exactly, and I can attest to that just because in my field as well, like being in technology,
Yeah.
a lot of these guys that I work with, they don't have people skills because
Absolutely.
At
some
all.
some of
Zero.
our
At
job
all.
is customer service and customer support and speaking to people and communicating,
Yeah.
and a lot of those kind of skills, I feel like I'm usually that person on the team that's like looked towards as like, oh, can you reach out to this person, get this information? Because it's not that they aren't capable of doing that, but they don't really interact with people on that level. They
and
more
you're
so
more
are
likely
behind
to
the
get
computer.
that sale because you're more approachable in a sense.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily work in sales. Like it's more so like I'm a solutions architect at my job, so that's more like a project manager. So I kind of just like see how projects are going and reaching out to different teams and stuff like that. Like that's my role on a
So-
day-to-day.
But to piggyback off of Jasmine, like, because I am technically in sales, retail, different things like that, the charisma is what sells. So my biggest thing, if I'm teaching and training somebody, I don't really care if you know the information. I'll help you with that.
That's
I need
easy.
you to get the person into the door.
Yes.
I need you to be that person that's able to use your charisma to make me want to listen to you, because I've always been taught as a salesperson that personality sells.
Yeah.
So if you like me,
it's vital.
It's super vital.
and it also works in the dating world if y'all don't know this.
Oh my
like,
God.
When you
always
have,
gotta bring it back.
when you have a great
I'm assuming
personality.
he's single, to be honest.
He's
Like
not.
it's like what's happening here?
When you have a great personality, it
He's
really
open.
helps you. It really helps you because people want to endear to that. Like, I don't want to talk to nobody that's a stick in the mud, but hey, you're smart. What is smart? Smart means nothing to me.
So then that goes into my first question, and the first topic of the night is, do you guys code switch at work? Why or why not? I'm going to just answer first. So
Yeah,
I
go
would
ahead.
say for me, like I said, I do work in customer service in a sense. So you have to. Like when I'm making these calls, talking to these directors and coordinators, and my last job, like I was working with a lot of doctors and stuff. Like I'm not gonna answer the phone or call them like, "Oh, hey, what's up? Is this working for you?" Like no, like you need to have some type of manners and like make it sound like you know what you're talking about, because you can't, like if I literally did that, they would just think like, "Oh, well, she probably don't really know her shit." And I already have like a lot of things against me in a sense. So I don't want to add that to it. So I don't code switch to a point where it diminishes my personality and like my integrity, but I do it in a way that I know is going to help my job and get me further.
Jasmine.
Well, I think because we all work with people, I feel like it's vital, like you said, to be able to code switch.
Okay.
I do it every single day. Every single patient, I'm never really the same with. And there comes a fine line between being yourself, being professional, but also showcasing you. So that
Do you feel like that's needed though, to code switch with different people? And I don't want to call it code switch, because I feel like that has a negative connotation to it. But you adjust to the situation and your environment.
Yeah, of course.
So do you think that's needed for like every different person that you encounter, and why?
Yes, because I worked with patients of all ages. From my youngest was 3 months old, 5 years old. I've treated 7, 8 to all the way up to 94. One of my patients is currently. So I have to. It's like I can't say to a 94-year-old, "Yo, what's good, man? Shoot, you ready for some exercise, bro? Listen, we about to pop this bottle open."
Is that how you talk to the younger ones?
But why can't you? They understand.
Well,
No, that's a
some
different
do.
generation.
Exactly, very different. Those baby boomers, like, they look at it as you're being unprofessional. So, for example, me with tattoos, like, at some points, I try not to hide that because that's who I am. I love tattoos. I embrace everyone that has it. Even my patients, I'm like, "Oh, it's a dope tat, blah, blah, blah." But at the same time, sometimes you gotta, adjust to your environment. Meaning that if people are looking at my tattoos and giving me side eyes about it, I gotta hide it so that way I can get my job done, and that they don't look at me and stereotype me as, "Oh, this is a Latin woman with tattoos."
Yeah,
She don't know what
and
she's
they kind of
talking
think
about, like-
exactly, and that's always my issue. Like she don't know what she's talking about because she talks a certain way. And I'm not saying that like I do it in a sense where I'm not myself. Like I'm still myself, but I kind of adapt to my work setting than how I am outside of work.
I think that makes us give too much validation to other people's perceptions of us.
Yeah.
So for somebody like me, I don't code switch. Like I used to. Don't get me wrong. I believe we all come from that urban environment where we want to make people feel comfortable. Naturally, I always talk like this.
Yeah.
I always been that person that you already looked at.
Yeah.
Oh, you talk a little whiter than, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I never necessarily had to do it. But when it comes to the space that I'm in as a retail manager, big black dude that you first see when you walk in the door, you think he's about to come over here with some ghetto shit. And when I don't, it kind of de-weaponizes me.
Well, that's your
Yeah.
personality, though. Like,
Yeah,
your
but-
personality is just welcoming and like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Like, to me, I'm not always like that. Like, I'm. There are times where I am more quiet and more reserved at work, but then I know there are times where they look at me to have that, like, bring that personality to speak to certain people, because other people on the team don't have that.
If you didn't know me, and my first impression for you was welcoming, is that it? Like, is that the first thing you're going to look at me when I come out and I'm bubbly and I'm personable? Because most black men, unfortunately, the perception is he's probably going to be dark and brooding and somebody that is not going to give me my way and not going to be.
I don't think so.
I get that
Like,
a lot.
I feel like we're viewed, like, Black people are viewed as the like the go-to person and like the friendly person, the person to talk to, and who's going to talk to everybody. Like, that's how I feel at my job. Like,
from a male perspective, I'm 6'2". I don't know if y'all could tell. I'm pretty damn big, but I'm serious. No, I'm being silly.
He's trying to get a woman out here. Yeah, thank you.
I'm being silly, but
he's trying to get a woman out here.
I'm 6'2", 220 pounds, dark skin, brooding. As soon as you see me, the first thing out of my mouth is probably going to be something silly, something fun, something heartwarming.
So you think because of your physical look,
a lot of white women,
people
especially,
see you as like, you know, like they're scared.
Yeah, the natural.
I believe that too. To be honest,
I can agree to that.
Yeah. So when I come out and I'm giving this like super warm and super bubbly personality, a lot of people look at it like I'm code switching, but that's honestly my real personality. So it kind of takes people aback because it's like, who is this person that I'm talking to? Is this fake? So I actually work against myself a lot because it's like, no, this is the real me. So most people don't believe it.
And I think people have to, like, so for me with my patients, like, I code switch in the beginning, but then once I feel the person out and feel how they are, then I'm like, all right, let me take my sweater off. Yeah, let me show you my tattoos. Let me let you know who I really am. And I think people forget that because, again, they don't have that personality. They don't have that like energy to drive people, to bring people in. And it's like, once you have that energy that brings people in, you're automatically gonna be liked. So for you to have that energy, that means that you have people that, you know, want to be around you, want to be you know, like that kind of thing.
I think it's the personality too. 100%. Because if your personality is always on 10 and always not bubbly, but it's just always inviting, that's you. So people are going to gravitate towards that, and you don't necessarily have to change so much to where you feel like you're not being yourself. But for my personality, I know there are times where I don't want to talk as much today. Like, I want to just like keep to myself and just do my work and focus on that. And then there are other days where like I'm like, oh, hey, how are you? How was your weekend? Like, now I'm more friendly. Like that's just how I am. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say that's code switching, but in my industry where I'm working with a lot of like people who are just more professional, and they're not necessarily trying to get to know you like that. Like, it's more so like, oh, what's the status of this? Can I get an update for that? Like, what's going on with this? Like, everything is just all streamlined and like, or all corporate conversation. So we don't always get that like friendly part of people and their personalities.
And I think you made a great point, right? I want to be friendly today, but why is non-friendly Dana not acceptable?
Don't say
no.
that.
It needs to be said like that.
Sounds crazy.
No, because it needs to be said like that, right? Some days you don't want to be this quote unquote perfect person where you just want to be yourself, and it shouldn't be a judgment. Like, how you naturally,
it's a judgment.
It's not a judgment for you, but it's a judgment for these people that you're working with.
And I'm gonna tell you why. It's a judgment because I am the only Black woman on this team, so I'm already being judged anyway.
Which is fucked up.
It is fucked up, but that's the reality.
And that's why we need to shake that fucking reality, because it's some bullshit. To you be college educated, in multiple capacities, probably outwork these people in a billion different ways, because you might say, what's up? Now all of a sudden you're not qualified, you're not professional enough. Fuck that. I'm not with that. And that's why I say I don't code switch, because I'm the type of person, you're going to get 110% out of me regardless, where I'm going to give you the guy that grew up in a suburban neighborhood where I have a lot more white sounding words. And like I said, amicable in the barbershop earlier today. Shout out to the barber. I said amicable in the barbershop.
But he plugged out podcasts, so shout out to them.
And they were like excited, like, oh, look at the vocabulary. But it's like,
they said that?
They did. But it's like, it's not even about that.
I didn't know people still do that. Like,
because they're not accustomed to it.
I've never been in that kind of environment where people saw the way I talk and was like, oh, like she thinks she better than us, or like, oh, you the smart one, like you the white one. Like, I've never experienced that, thankfully. So from your experience, it's like, how do you feel about that? Do you take that like personal?
I don't, because I recognize where it's coming from, right? I know being like me and LaShawn talked about it a couple podcasts ago, like being the smarter one in the family, the smarter one in the room, it makes you kind of a target, essentially. Like you feel better than us. You might have an upper hand. So instead of acting on it, It's like, no, we the same. We all good. It's just so happened that I like vocabulary. That's my shit. I look at words, I write. That's my shit.
Yeah.
But that's your personality. That's not
instead of
because
being offended by it.
But people do judge you because they look at you. You 6'2", you 220, you black.
Yeah.
Where's he learn vocabulary from?
Absolutely.
Isn't he from the hood?
And they assume that shit. And then
Like,
on top of that, the way that I dress at work, I'm typically buttoned down. I'm cleaner, you know, than
business casual.
Yeah, a lot of the guys that they might see. So they're like, oh, this is a good nigga. Like, no, I'm just as fucking raunchy and ratchet and hood as every other nigga that you will ever see. But I also have a different side of me that it's just my natural personality. Like, it has nothing to do with you, Mr. or Mrs. White Woman, because I don't give a fuck about y'all.
And I would say, in my case as well, it doesn't have to do with them. It's more so my personality. Like, some days I truly just don't want to hear about your kids and, like, your mom coming over and your daughter being annoying. Like, I don't give a fuck. But you can't say that.
I'm going to fluff it, though, because naturally, with white men, you don't get nothing out of me. I'm sorry. But older white women, they
love black men. Yo,
love me.
There's this black guy at my job. He literally tells me, like, older white women love him because he has green eyes and like, they literally will. I guess that's, like, I don't know, his little thing that catches them. But and he listens to a lot of their BS that they be saying. But they literally, like, bake him food and bring him stuff and gifts and whatever because, like, I don't know. It's something about a black guy. I guess they just are so infatuated with.
That's how Can't Get Right had that baby in Life. You feel me? Like, it's just something about the black man and the white woman.
Yeah, the Life movie.
Okay, I see what you did there.
I can't. But on the topic of black men, real quick, because in physical therapy, you'll see that there's not that many black men that are going for this profession. I mean, in my class personally, we have a very diverse class. So I had a good amount of black men in my class, and I love that and I respect that. But there's, like, you know, research out there that, you know, only 3% of African American men actually go forth with the doctorate because a lot of, like, program directors and that looked at skin color and be like, oh, no, you know, we're just not going to take you. So like,
you have to be like approved to be in these.
Yeah, so, like, it's an interview process. You got to apply. Like, it's a really extensive
But because they're
thing to
black,
get
they're
in.
like, no, I'm just automatically not going to choose them.
Exactly. So, like, what I respect about my program itself was that my program director took a different approach. He's like, you know what? Let's not look at the papers of the grades and the GPA and, you know, what they look like on paper. Let me meet them in person. And I want to take in minorities because he's half Thai, half Puerto Rican. So he was like, I want to incorporate more minorities into this field because honestly, us minorities, we code switch the best. You know,
Because we don't really have a choice a lot of time.
But me personally, I don't know any white people that can do that.
Because they don't have to.
They don't have to.
Exactly.
But that's the privilege of
white
it all.
people, time out,
yeah.
they will code switch when it come to, hey, bro, let me get some blah, blah, like,
They try. They be
do that
trying.
shit.
They be trying.
But
Yeah.
the difference between the way that they do it versus the way that we do it is it's natural for us. It's our lifestyle. We
because we've had to do that. Exactly.
Yeah,
survival.
Correct. That's the
Pisces.
Ding, ding. Give me the ding ding, Mara.
Pisces.
Okay, give me that ding ding real quick. There it is.
Yeah, that's how
it's survival
telekinesis out here.
But to piggyback off of what you're saying, I also think that with physical therapy, the black athlete along with the physical therapist is tied in, right? But we are so focused because I did track and field at Kane and St. Peter's University. We are
Shout
so
out to them.
we are
Drop
so
a bomb
focused.
for Aaron.
I was number one in the nation. Don't forget.
You said that on
But
the
we are so
first
focused on
podcast
being
episode.
professional athletes. We are so focused on whether it's going overseas or going to the NBA, the NFL, the Olympics, whatever the case may be, that we don't look at the other side of it, whether it's a coach, whether it's a physical trainer, whether it's a athletic director. We don't look at it like that. But there are so many avenues that we should be taking. And we should be listening to people like you to say, hey, why don't you learn this? Nobody that I did sports with as a male was a PT major.
Yeah.
I had about 4 or 5 that were women.
So I just want to go back to your professor that you was talking about. What school was that? Just so people know if they want to pursue that.
Dominican College. Well, hold on. It's not college no more. It just turned to Dominican University.
Shout out to them.
Dooney. Shout out to the Doonies.
Drop a bomb.
Shout out to the colleagues out there.
Okay. So, yeah, listeners or viewers.
That's New York?
Yeah, Orangeburg, New York.
Upstate.
I recommend every minority apply because they'll actually look at you like a normal person.
Yeah, my cousin went to Dominican, so.
Oh,
definitely.
Hey.
See, this is connections. 6 degrees of separation.
That's it.
Listen, that's why we did the networking is a powerful thing on, I think it was episode 5 I did with Jabbar, and how great that can be for, you know, just things you want to get into. But I do want to get into our next topic, which is side hustles and multiple jobs.
Word.
So in today's society, I feel like one income is not enough. Like it's truly not enough. Everything's expensive. Rent is expensive. Yeah. Rent is more than mortgage right now, if you guys didn't know.
The worst part about rent is a year ago, because I was looking and getting houses. The houses were like $1,000. I'm sorry, the rent was like $1,000 cheaper than right now. I'm like, this is some bullshit. I should just bought a house.
That ass. It really is though. It really. I should have bought a house last year. I should have bought a house last year.
Right. What'd you say? You got house money?
You said you got a house.
Yeah, but everything's going up. Groceries. Thankfully, gas went down. But
marginally,
to me, I think it's important to have multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
So you have your main job, which is it doesn't have to be 9 to 5, but just the main job you go to during the week that you make the most money from, right? And then you have your side hustles. So side hustles can be just your own business that you have started, created, cultivated. You're trying to make some money from that based off your passion. So in my case, it is this podcast, which is a side hustle, side business that I want to potentially have us make some type of income from.
Monetize.
But it's not the goal, but it is the goal. So
I mean, why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone?
Exactly.
You're doing what you love and you're having fun at the same time you're making money. That's a win-win.
Exactly.
In my opinion,
and that is the goal. But at the same time, I'm also in school. I just finished school for real estate. Said all that in my last.
Did?
Yeah.
Oh,
I took my 75-hour courses, and now I'm
Okay.
taking the exam this weekend for the class, and then I could take the state exam to be a licensed realtor.
Well, good luck.
Yes, thank you.
Time out. We don't do luck. We do skill. Great skill. You know what you got.
Yeah.
I mean, this ain't about luck.
Right.
We real out here. Sorry,
I guess you don't need that luck no
She
more.
don't need that
Right.
luck. I don't wish nobody luck.
And you gotta be blessed too. You gotta pray. You
Yeah.
gotta manifest. But you also have to be actively doing this stuff as well, because the shit's not just gonna fall out the sky without you putting in some work. So, back to the side hustles and multiple jobs. That's why I feel like it is important to have, because also it goes back to the other conversation we said, where you never know what is your calling or passion until you try different shit. So, Jasmin, for you, like, do you think it's important to have side hustles or multiple jobs? And if so, why?
Oh, 100%. I feel like people are getting underpaid out here, to be honest.
They take
Inflation's
advantage.
going up, rent's going up, mortgages are going up, X, Y, and Z. But at the same time, why is our salaries not going up?
Exactly.
You feels me? So for me, I feel like multiple streams of income is definitely important. I feel like the most important one is passive income, though.
Absolutely.
Because you can make money in your sleep.
You ain't paying attention.
That's
So
it.
what is passive income to you? What does that look like?
For me, that means if I go to sleep, I'm making dollars. I'm not focusing too hard on it. You know what I'm saying?
So what could be passive income for you, ideally?
So for me, ideally, like some goals for me is, I definitely wanted to start a podcast. Not even gonna hold you.
You did mention that when we went to the beach over the summer.
Oh, damn.
Go to off guard with that one.
Well, you got a studio,
Dead ass.
which is close.
It's a 15-minute drive. Hell yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no. For me, like, I feel like that is just something I've always wanted to do. Even like YouTube, like I think it's very smart for y'all to put this on YouTube, because that's a great passive income right there.
Yeah.
I've heard blogging. Like for me, like blogging would be great.
Like
because
writing? Do you like
writing? Like I love doing poetry. I honestly not
I
gonna.
knew we liked each other.
Wait, you do?
He has a poetry page.
Yo, my God.
I cannot.
We about to go spoken word. Let's do it.
He does that.
Roses are red. Violet's
Nah, that's a basic ass palm. We need something stronger than that. But okay, so yeah, those are the things that you potentially want to do going forward.
Going forward, yes,
as far as not personal, but multiple jobs.
Yes.
Do you have multiple jobs? What are they, and why do you feel like you need multiple jobs?
Yes. So I full-time work in a hospital. That's my...
Do your PT stuff?
My PT stuff. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm not doing PT stuff, I'm doing athletic training stuff. So I work for another company. And I'm also per diem PT for another company.
Okay.
As well as...
So it's all in the bubble of PT and physical therapy.
And PT, and therapy. My fault. But also my newest side hustle, which I started like 2 years ago. The first year was just BSing. Last year, I made some good bread. I'm not going to hold you. I looked at my profits and everything.
What was it, though? Your Coquito?
My Coquito.
Guys, she makes bomb Coquito.
I'm going to call it Cassidy.
It's about to be that time of the year. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I need to get a couple bottles.
Yes, I'm taking orders now.
You don't like Coquito?
I don't. I don't like eggnog. I don't like
Coquito. It's not for me. That's why.
It's not for me.
You don't like eggnog.
It's not for me.
But it's Puerto Rican eggnog. It's not regular eggnog.
I know. It's just
different.
something about it. It just don't do it.
Don't insult our first female guest.
No. I can help you sell it. Like, I peddle this shit.
Listen, I'm taking orders now.
I can sell water to a well. You feel me?
Oh, yeah.
Cassie said that because, Cassie, because she a hustler. But
that.
So, what about, like, stocks and bonds? Are you into that kind of passive income?
Investing. I can't hold you. I do have stocks.
Mm-hmm. That's important.
Have I paid attention to it? Hell no.
Tesla just split not too long ago.
I got Tesla.
Yeah. I think everyone should get a Roth IRA personally. Mm-hmm. Me and my mother looking into it right now.
I just changed my traditional IRA to a Roth IRA.
Really?
Yeah, probably like last year.
The best decision you probably would have done for yourself.
Yeah, and like
the reason for that though is because with the IRAs, when you retire, they take all of the taxes out. So you don't actually know how much money is going to be in that account. Oh. But when you have a Roth IRA, like they take taxes out as you put money into it now so that you have an idea. Because why would you not have money? I forgot how they explained it, but it just makes sense to have a Roth IRA as a younger person so that you can put money in now so you know what ideally your money is.
Yeah, because you don't want to take it out too early
Who made you privy to that information? Oh my god! Because I think that's important. Like a lot of us.
So back in the day, not back in the day, but in 2020, during the time when we were on lockdown, investing was actually one of the things that I researched.
That's what I did, to be honest. Yeah. During the pandemic, I did that stuff.
Yeah, I just wrote shit.
So, yeah, like I invested. I was on Robinhood for probably about 2 years. Me too. And then I kind of stopped for a little bit because you do have to research these companies that you are potentially going to buy shares for. Correct. So, like me and my ex, we were like big on that, like just talking about companies and what they have to offer, changes that they have going on. That's actually why I bought Tesla stock probably about 3 years ago. And then when it split, so
that was a good thing when it split though for you.
I know. And I think Apple recently did that. It was either Apple or Amazon. I don't remember. But the split is so that it's more affordable for people to buy the stocks.
I see.
So yeah, guys, you should definitely do some more research with that to get in that early so that when you are older, like you have additional money, like you're not just waiting on your retirement.
Oh, now, I know you said you did passive income side hustles. What about the non-passive stuff? Like I know you said you do athletic training, different things like that. That's actually physical, time consuming. You work at a hospital. I'm pretty sure you there a lot. Hours are crazy.
Yeah.
So how do you make time for both of them?
How do you do time management with everything for everything you do?
And I got a whole child. Like my dog killing me, man.
So see, I wasn't gonna say nothing. I was like, damn, you snapped back kind of crazy. But nah.
It's
go ahead.
Dog. Animals are your children.
They're
like literally you take care of them. Like you see them every day. You gotta feed them.
Feed her. Make her drink water, take her to the vet. It's a whole thing.
It's a child.
I always believe in the thing, if you got 24 hours in a day, right? That's a lot of time. Let's be real.
How do you spend your 24 hours?
And it's exactly, how do you spend it? That's what matters the most. So for me personally, I feel like if it's important to you, you're gonna make time for it.
Exactly.
No matter what.
we here. Like literally, it sounds like I'm talking to myself.
Well, because listen, we know each other for so long. I feel like I'm like looking at my reflection right now. To be honest.
No, like we be on the same page with a lot of things, but that's valid.
It's valid. Like if it's important, you make time. So for me, I'm up at 6 a.m. I don't go to bed till like 11, and then I'm just doing the same shit.
So you leave one job and then you just go to the next one right after.
Yeah, and I also treat home patients on the side too. So. I do a lot of things, but I still make time for like my man. I still make time for my mom to call her. I still make time to make sure I'm checking in on the people that check in on me.
Yes.
Because my biggest thing is I'm not putting energy into people that don't put energy into me.
Exactly.
Because that drains you. So, and again, that's a waste of time. Why am I checking on somebody if they don't even care about my well-being?
That's a one-way relationship and friendship.
Correct. Yeah.
So, Aaron, you didn't answer the question
About
side hustles and if you have multiple jobs, like
you got multiple jobs?
Do you think that's something
So
you need?
I actually just recently got another additional gig.
Word.
Part of me though with retail is mentally, physically, emotionally draining.
I hear
so
that.
it is hard to get back off the perch.
And you're
right?
the manager too,
Yeah.
so you have to deal with all these personalities like in close vicinity constantly.
Yeah, so it's like when you get home, can you just recharge? And part of that is I try not to stop. Like if I keep going and going and going and don't take breaks, I'll be able to not have that crash. But once you get that crash, this is why I don't do like energy drinks and shit like that, because I need the downtime. I need the rest.
It's important for your
That's
body to really like reset. And also that just helps with your health too.
Yeah.
Because too much stress constly, like that does cause...
you burn out.
Yeah.
As the doctor here,
That's
know.
the definition of burnout. Though.
Exactly.
So my dead ass. Like, so what's my question for you? I'm trying to be Dr. Jazz here, but I gotta.
Nah, be Dr. Jazz.
I gotta be Dr. Jazz.
Dr. Jazz.
What have you done to make yourself like
decompress?
Like, what makes you not think about work? What makes you just kind of feel?
Is it spending time with your kids?
No, it's not. For me, it's no. Hey, that's
a
not,
lot of people say
not,
that.
That's not.
Like,
That's not
I
what
want to
makes me
spend time with my
decompress. That's
kids
not what
to relax.
What makes me decompress from work is honestly just not being there. Like the natural state of I have nothing to worry about because this is over there.
Yeah.
You have to kind of cultivate that at work, though.
So having your alone time or just having that time separate at work?
Having that trust that you put people in position to do the right things, that you don't have anything to worry about.
Okay.
You don't stress until you feel like the people can't do what you do. So part of that as a leader is like I put people in really good positions to make sure like, yo, when I come in after a week of vacation, shit ain't on the floor, shit ain't looking crazy.
Yeah, so
I can focus.
To speak to your point, what you just said, like you can't do what I do, that's actually an issue that I've had with conversations that my boss has told me and my not my manager, but my manager's manager. They always say, I want us to get to a point where you could do my job. My thing is, I don't want to do your job.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do my job well but I guess it's like, what are your goals here? Like, my goals is not to take my manager's spot at all. Like, I want to do my job well enough that maybe I do get a promotion or more money or like more PTO or something, but I don't want to be the manager because being the manager in my eyes, it's just stressful. It's just more responsibility and more time that I have to put towards my job when my goal personally is to have like to do this job so well that like I can do it quickly to do my other shit
that's more important to you, to be honest.
Exactly.
That's what I'm feeling right now. It's like it's more important for you to get these other, side hustles to be your full-time position.
That's the goal. That is the goal.
Yeah.
But for us as creatives, you do poetry, so that makes you a creative also, right?
I paint too, so
She's super
Listen,
dope.
she's tapped into
the lefty in me. It's the lefty in me.
artistic
Oh, damn, I think my
abilities.
daughter's about to be a lefty. I don't like
Shout
it.
out to us lefties out here.
Are you
There's
right
not
here
that
then?
many of us.
Okay.
But I drive with my left hand.
We
though.
don't need to do anything that Dana does in the car. We're just gonna.
Why? Yo, I'm a great driver. I'm literally a NASCAR driver.
That's not a good thing.
No, it's a great thing.
No, you
Listen,
have a
guys,
speed
so
limit.
I can't talk shit because
We
people
were-
say I drive crazy, and I'm like, listen, I'm Need for Speed Underground.
Yeah,
up in
we
here.
were just on this other podcast, The Educated Brothers, and we talked
no
about
word.
how I ended up cutting Aaron off on the Parkway a couple years ago, but didn't realize it was him.
You remember that? That's
he brought it up.
She almost killed me.
I completely forgot about it. I was like, what the fuck? Why would you bring that up?
Yeah,
but
that's a long time
prior
ago.
to that, I was saying how I am a aggressive but safe driver. Like, I drive a lot in the city, like New York. So in Manhattan, like, people cut you off and like they do a lot of crazy shit. So I know how to get through traffic and like get us there safely, but you gotta be aggressive.
You can't not be aggressive in the city. Like,
Yeah. You're gonna get into an accident.
Cabmen are about to hit people for goddamn sake. Like, it's not like, this is not a joke when you're in the city. So like all these people that don't know what it's like you gotta have your elbows out.
I was just about
pick it up.
Yo, we are so in sync right now because I was going to say people drive in New York the same way they walk. It is fucking ridiculous. But to piggyback off of what we was talking about with the creativity, right? So I'm a writer. Dana's digital content creator, just marvelous with the shit, right?
Talking shit.
So we always try to find that different niche, that different avenue where we can make money off of our creativity, especially if we are creative, because everybody's not
find
creative.
things to collaborate with.
Yeah.
Because I think with y'all, the poetry, like that actually could be like something, you know, like you guys
course,
like have an event or something, like maybe a spoken word, and then you do yours and Aaron does his, and maybe sell tickets and stuff like that. Like, you just never know.
And I love hearing other people's like stuff. So please, like, feel free to send me stuff.
You know, I think I struggle with that the most is I'm not really a fan of poetry. Right?
So why you
Really?
writing?
Because
I'm confused.
I was just good at it.
Is it other
No,
is
I'm
it other
serious.
people's poetry you don't like?
Like, not really. Like, I really don't. I struggle with it. So because I was privy to it through education, like, you learn literature and all that stuff, like how to read Robert Frost and all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I can understand it. But now I'm trying to learn to love it. Like, I'm trying to really learn to love it. So when I do create it, I can make better money off of it because I'm not just writing from an Aaron's perspective. I'm writing from a literature, poetry perspective. Where
Do you
other people
feel what
say.
you write?
I feel what I write because I write personal stuff, experiences, and different things like that.
Do you feel what other people write? Like, that's
But
I
a
feel
lot,
like that
a
what
lot of
makes
his
you
shit,
like it.
just to let you know, is like erotic poetry.
That's why I laugh when she said.
Like, it's his experiences through like sexual experiences, but it's good. It's just from that lens.
Oh, so we're very different writers.
Yeah.
I write
And
how
don't
I
get me,
feel.
I can write from that perspective too.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
just wrote some crazy stuff the other day, just regarding Kanye and all that stuff that's going on. But it's like, how do I make that make money when, with all due respect, support isn't the easiest thing to garner?
Yes, and I was just gonna add to that. This was just like a side conversation I was thinking of in my head. But there are people out there who are so creative and so artistic, and they have a lot to give, but they're just scared to put out all of this creative things because of judgment and because of support, or them thinking they're not going to get views or likes. And I'm one of those people, and I think it's probably my personality. Like, I'm going to put stuff out there because I enjoy doing it. Like, I enjoy editing our videos. When I did do YouTube, like, I just enjoyed recording certain moments and sharing them with people. And it wasn't necessarily for the views, but I think that kind of just like, it kind of, you just hold yourself back in a sense to where it's like, well, why aren't you sharing all of these great abilities that you have? Is it because of judgment? And if so, you got to get over that, because like, you get judged every day. Like, when you step out your house, people are going to judge you.
They look at you sideways all the time. And I'm like, hey,
so
what's
you're going to just
on?
let that stop. You never know like where you could go with your abilities, but you're just so scared because it's like, well, I don't want people to judge me, or I don't want people to not like my stuff. And with Instagram now, like, it's all about the likes. Like,
I was about to, girl,
yo,
crazy.
I'm telling you, we connected.
I was literally just about to say that. Like, I feel like people post for the wrong reasons nowadays. Like, kids nowadays, all they care, attention, likes. Oh my god, like, literally, I only have 65 likes. No one likes me. I'm deleting it. And I'm like, why are you deleting it? You want to post it because you thought it was a dope pic, and it is a dope pic. Just because not the whole world is seeing it, but why does the whole world matter so much to you?
Exactly.
It should be about you because you're the most important
That's
person.
the
in life.
generation
to
that we
argue
in.
with that validation does lead to potential more, right? So if I post this picture, let's use an Instagram model as a example, right? If I post this picture and I get 200 likes versus I post this picture and I get 2,000 likes, that can put me in different spaces. So I do require more out of the people that I'm trying to appeal to. So it's truly like, I don't want to post something and get 7 likes.
But it's an addiction as well, because some people, they don't necessarily do it for the potential of being in different spaces. It's more so for the attention. Like, they kind of just crave that, and they don't have that inner self-esteem or like inner confidence, exactly. Like, they need the validation of other people. Like, once you stop looking for other people's validation and just do shit because you like putting out certain content, then trust me, like, you'll feel way better about yourself.
You'll live a different life. That's how I feel too. Like, people just...
It's all a facade. It's all an illusion.
Yeah.
And a lot of shit on Instagram, like, I truly don't...
It's not real.
These
women with these BBLs, that's not a real
I actually
body.
I feel bad
listen,
for
I wasn't
other,
gonna talk about
like,
it.
actual women.
Like, that's not real to me. Like, these filters, okay, and that's the same thing. People put all these filters up.
I do filters.
I mean, I do too. I'm not gonna say I don't. Like, hell yeah, I put a filter on there and make my upper lip look a little bigger. But at the same time, I still post myself natural. Half the time, you don't see that. You only see them with their ass out, titties out.
Yeah, and there's a lot of apps that can like cinch your waist and make your ass look bigger.
That's so scary.
It's definitely a scary world that we're going into. But my thing is just how it's influencing the younger generation.
Absolutely.
Because my little cousin, she's 16. Like, I just started following her on Instagram. But prior to that, she's had an Instagram for mad long.
Yeah.
And she always got it taken away because she had like these creepy older men like DMing her. And I think she was 13 at the time, because my cousin sent me the screenshots. Like, she be telling me all the tea. But yeah, like, this older guy was literally DMing her, and she said, like, I'm 13, I live in New York, like, giving him hella details.
They don't be caring.
But she don't know. Like, she don't know. Right. It was kind of crazy. So they had to they took her phone, deleted the Instagram, and now she's 16 and she has her own page. But because living in New York anyway, like, you get exposed to a lot of shit.
Oh yeah.
So it's not that we want to censor her, but it's more so that, like,
I
don't want her to feel like she has to hide her Instagram. So I'm not gonna be that family member that's like ODing on everything she posts. Like, I'm gonna just like comment or like just so that I have that access and she feels comfortable talking to me about whatever.
And I feel real bad for like my son's generation, because my son is 11.
I was just about to ask, like, how old are your kids? I don't know.
Yeah, 11 and 1.
Okay.
So
wow, 1.
Yeah, big guy.
You got a baby.
Whoa.
Yeah,
whole child in your hand.
A whole child.
Damn. Boy, girl. You said the girl?
Boy is 11, girl is 1.
Oh,
so
thank
shout out
you.
to them. Put a picture on them. Anyways, but
why you want people to know what your kids look like?
My kids are beautiful. They look like me.
Oh,
I know, but we were just talking about creeps online.
Anywho. But like, for my son, he's into basketball, right?
Okay,
that's his
word.
thing. Like, he loves basketball, football, sports, athletes, the big guys, the people that you know and you see. And the emulation is crazy. It's like Odell Beckham Jr., everybody wants his hair. Everybody wants to catch the ball with one hand. Everybody wants to be that.
Hold on, before you finish, I just want to say something. Do you follow him and his baby mom?
Yeah, Lola. What's her name? Lola.
Lola Wood. But
there
like,
you go. Thank you.
Is she related to D Woods?
No, she's white, I think.
I don't know, but she looked fake too, to be honest.
But no, listen,
Anyway.
they be having a baby just like crawling around in the gym. And just like, do you ever see those videos they be posting? Like, because they want to work out, but like the baby just be crawling around on like the fake ground. What is that called?
That's not sanitary.
Yeah, I be thinking that. I'm like, this baby just popped out a couple months ago. Like, why is it in the gym crawling around? Like, this don't really sound sanitary.
Stop it. Yeah, thank you.
Listen,
Stop that shit.
but sorry for cutting you off, Aaron.
Nah, that's all good. So these kids, they really fall into victimhood of emulation. Like, I try my best to teach my son, like, you can be that. You don't have to want to be like that. But we also came up in a generation of, I want to be like Mike, where everybody...
maybe that's his idol.
It can be your idol, but these kids literally will force themselves to do everything like this.
Like, encompass themselves.
So, like, I know Dana's not a sports person, but the kids will all want to shoot a 3 from half court like Steph Curry. All of them want to catch the ball with one hand like Odell Beckham. All of them want to hit home runs like Mike Trout.
But what's wrong with that, though?
Because it doesn't teach you the skill. It doesn't teach you sustainability. So if I'm a kid who really wants to be an athlete, I need to learn the actual sport,
like the
and not just be
fundamentals.
flashy and flary.
Yeah.
Because now when I fail, I'm going to be depressed. I'm going to be sad. It's going to hurt my feelings. Being a youth coach, seeing these kids sad after games because they don't know fundamental shit that they could have did properly, is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it's already heartbreaking enough being in sports as a kid. You don't need to add that shit to your
Yeah. And I just feel like they have super easy access to celebrities, and that's another thing with Instagram is people try to make it seem like they're living these celebrity lifestyles because they have such easy access to like a celebrity's Instagram broke. And can see like everything that they put out. It's like they in a whole different tax bracket.
Yeah.
So,
but they don't be. That'd be the worst part about it.
No, they do. Because if you got a Nicki Minaj and she posts like all these expensive and elaborate trips that she goes on, or like Drake, and he's always posting like his poker wins and shit. He be winning like $3 million.
Or you could be like Glorilla.
Yeah.
Glorilla, who got a 360
Drake,
deal that don't even got the money and paying for a paddock for Cardi B. You will fall into that fucking lifestyle. Yeah. And now you broke trying to
see the music industry with that though. I heard the 360 deals
it's
like that was always a scam that they always did with new artists. So I don't think that relates to
our Kanye conversations. So
social media so much. We already talked about Kanye like on the other.
Kanye he wilding out.
It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that.
I had an argument actually with someone yesterday about Kanye West because he recently did what was that?
Drink Champs?
No, not Drink Champs. He did another interview.
Andrew Cuomo?
It was a white guy. I know that.
I don't know who it was. Yes, it was on CNN.
Yes.
But the Drink Champs interview, I think that one was 3 hours, right? And they took it down. So the person who I was arguing with, he was saying how Kanye was saying a lot of like black empowerment stuff and how we need to come together and all these things we need to do and how the media is being controlled by Jews and all of that, which is, from his perspective, is valid. But my issue with that, with what I was telling to the person, was like, he can say all of that, but if you know the media is being controlled and like certain things you say is going to be taken out and like blown out of proportions, why did you even say that George Floyd comment? Like, why not just keep it positive and keep your agenda of what you were trying to say and put it out? Because, like, he already gets the attention, right? Like, he's an influencer. Like, he has a huge following. So was that for him to just get more attention? Like, he felt like, I don't know. But, like, my thing is, like, you can't do both. Like, you can't say you're for the black agenda and be for us.
He sounds like a hypocrite, to be honest.
Yeah, like, and I was like, honestly, he may have a valid message, but you can't flip flop like that. I'm sorry, because then it kind of just dilutes your message.
You ain't got the answers, man.
I'm gonna disagree.
Why are you gonna disagree? We got a couple more minutes.
I'm not gonna give too much of the why. All I'm gonna say is we all went to school. When we took a test, we were graded from a 0 through 100. Okay. If somebody gets a 94%, that 6% is still incorrect, right? Are you going to hold me accountable for 6% of the incorrect?
But listen, this wasn't the first time, though.
Okay.
Like, he always has these outbursts where
which is
he puts all of his business on social media.
He needs a therapist. Why does no one refer him to a therapist?
I believe he probably
I'm pretty sure he probably does, but he probably just does not choose to go.
Does he follow up? I say that's the question. Does he follow up?
I think we all have an opportunity to voice our expression and frustrations.
Correct.
And whether we agree or not, I think we all deserve the room to speak on it.
Well, freedom of speech, right? First Amendment. But
now, in the event that you feel like somebody is wrong, I feel like we have the opportunity to tell them, hey, I don't agree with you on that. But it's my biggest issue with this whole thing is censorship. Like, he deserves the right to say that. If you disagree, that's fine.
I did not say that.
I didn't say that.
Oh no, I'm not saying this to you. I'm literally talking to you like I was talking to the person yesterday. She said, I was so passionate because we literally ended with like, we can agree to disagree.
And you blocked me.
They kept sending me shit today of like, oh, why, like, he has a valid point.
But what's the problem with agreeing to disagree?
Right.
There's no issue with that.
My thing is, I'm not discrediting what he was saying about the black agenda. My thing is, just focus on that. That's it.
It's hard, though, because that's why I think Kanye's biggest issue is he's a little erratic when it comes to his actual points, where I might say this and I might say this. And next thing, Meek Mill is it like he was saying a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about
What he needs to
random
do
shit.
is he needs to write shit down so that way his points are a little bit more
So
succinct
that he
and we can
doesn't lose
understand
it,
them.
because that's what I feel.
And
a
I
lot,
think
too.
that's where we get to the point where, hey, Kanye's crazy because
I don't think he's crazy. Like, I truly think he has a lot of sense, because if you can just like understand how much influence you have and like how like he can help the Black community, and he's a billionaire, he has all these connections, and the ins and outs of what's going on with the media and how it's being controlled. If you can comprehend all of that, but then when you have these erratic outbursts, oh, he's crazy.
He's human.
I don't think Kanye says that, though.
That's the real question.
But
He's
that's
human,
the thing.
though.
I don't think Kanye says it. I think the people who oppose him say that, which makes it like easily dismissive. And we
Okay.
are mental health advocates on this podcast.
Yes, we are.
So instead of trying to dismiss somebody for their mental health, we want to encourage them to find out, how can I be better? How can I find help? And how can I seek out the help that I need, versus people chastising me for it. And I think that's part of the problem.
I agree. I just think like his overall message is being blocked because of these erratic behaviors that he keeps having over a certain period of time. Like, he'll be quiet for a few months and then say some shit that's like, oh wow, like he has a point. And then say some stupid ass comment that was not needed, and now like everyone is upset and just focused on that.
Don't be upset about it.
Well, yeah, I think there's ways to say things too. For him, I think he needs to learn how to say things a little better, because I think he blurts out his feelings.
But it's not
And
just anything though. Like you said, George Floyd died from fentanyl, and
Based
not
on what
the cop had his knee on his neck.
I don't agree with what Kanye said about it. I do believe that the source matter that he gathered it from made him believe it.
Correct,
we all
yeah.
can read some shit that I have us thinking like, yo, that's not really the truth.
So has he come out and said like, oh, actually,
He doesn't
I
have to say
apologize?
that though, because his thing is, I believe that it's true.
Okay.
I can't tell him not to believe what he believes. We all believe some different shit.
Right.
That, yeah.
Which is why like we can agree to disagree
Exactly.
with that point.
Without saying, I'm going to block your ass.
Okay, well, on that note, guys, we about to wrap up episode 7. So, Jasmine, thank
lucky
you
number 7.
for joining us.
Thank you
Yo,
guys for
honestly-
having me. Like, please invite me again, because I love this.
Nah,
Marv,
we
you the
definitely
shit,
did.
bro.
You definitely got to come on again, yo. Like,
And
next time you
was
gonna rap.
here.
Yeah.
Next time you rapping.
I'm spitting bars next session.
Let's do that. Let's next
pop
time she
off,
come.
Like, that
She a poet.
We
So
all
we-
got to have like a...
She tried to slip
just
that
like,
in.
we did that all the time in college, though. Just
Yeah.
Oh
fun
shit!
fact.
Time out. We need the footage of what Cardi B say. Where's the footages?
Do we have footage of that? No,
You
we
might have
got
it.
footage of us singing.
Definitely
Into the
sing Chris
webcam.
Brown,
Yeah. So
Mariah Carey. Oh my god.
maybe
Hey,
we'll share that.
we need y'all to hit up our email address, WOAW
I'm gonna put it on the
podcast
screen.
at gmail.com.
Oh word.
So we can get some feedback, so we can get y'all to
We
get
want to hear
acclimated
stories.
into the
We want
pod.
y'all to ask us for advice, because we're pretty knowledgeable. We're educated.
I feel like that'd be
smart.
such a great thing. Like,
Yeah, we
you
got a
know,
whole Gmail account for that.
I'm like half a therapist, like part time. Like I got the physical.
That's another
part of
hustle.
it,
That's another hustle.
Right?
Listen,
Like everyone needs
exactly.
advice nowadays. So holla at us. Maybe we might have a different output than you do. You know what I'm saying?
but we here to help.
Hit out.
Yes. So on that
Ding.
note, why did we all stop like that?
We
But-
thought you was gone.
Because we thought we were. This
Oh,
is it, right?
Okay. Well, let me wrap it up. So, guys, thank you for tuning in to this episode, and we'll catch you on the next one.
We outside
Catch
after
y'all
work.
outside and we
flip.